Okay, hey Rebekka, my name is Jessie Hobson. I'm from CineDump.com. I'm a website based out of Houston, Texas. Um, I watched a few other interviews to kind of prepare for this one, and
Uh-oh.
my first question is have you watched Yellow Jackets yet?
I haven't.
Well, I suggest that you do because um my wife and I, we just kind of watched it on a whim, and ultimately it became like the topic of our house, and my family, my mom watched it, my dad watched it, anyone and everyone we know and appreciate watched it, and it just kind of became the go-to conversation, if you will. So it's a good one to just have in your back pocket, because once season 2 rolls out, I think it's going to be a very hot topic.
Awesome. Yeah, no, I want to watch it. I really do. That's just one that I didn't watch. And you know what? My husband watched it without me. And so then it makes it hard because now I have to, negotiate with him that I
Yeah.
have to, spend some TV time when my son's asleep to watch
Yep.
Yellow Jackets, even though I really do want to.
Sounds a lot like my house. And so off the bat, I'm curious, probably like most people, did you guys meet on the set of Glow? And okay, and then also, how did that friendship, because I work in production as well, and I'm curious as to how that friendship bond or blossomed into more of a creative bond, if you will.
Yeah, so Kate and I met on Glow, but the funny thing is, before Glow, both of us worked at the same place and we would just cross paths, but we didn't know each other. So there was a comic book shop called Meltdown Comics, and Kate actually worked there at the same time as I was teaching improv classes in the back. And so for a year, we like would walk by each other but didn't know, and we figured that out when we were on Glow, that like we were there at the same time, which is just so strange and kismety. But yeah, we met on Glow. We met in the wrestling ring because the first month of training before we were shooting, we kind of like all met each other. So Kate and I actually, we had a memorable like practice where we had to pick an animal and wrestle as it.
Yeah.
And so we were mouse and rhino, and I was a rhino and she was a mouse, and we wrestled as that. And like we were laughing so hard. And so that kind of started our bond and our friendship. And we spent a lot of time together in the trailer, out of the trailer, just on set. And then we just started hanging out in regular life and really just making each other laugh. Kate originally asked me to collaborate on some of her music videos. So I was in one of her music videos for her song Life in Pink, and I actually played a rabbit. And behind the scenes, I started improvising with this crazy voice where I would say the filthiest thing and talk like this, and I'd be Bad Rabbit, and created Bad Rabbit in 2018, just joking around. And then here we are years later. We made a short that got into South by 20th Digital, saw it and was like, hey, can you pitch us some shorts? And we were like, what about that crazy character that I did backstage? And we turned it into Bad Rabbit. So we've been collaborating on many things together through the years.
Yeah, I was curious as to how Fox got involved. Like you guys had Wild Bitch previously, and I was curious if that was what ultimately led to this. But yeah, shorts, they have a funny way, and music videos as well, of like kind of becoming bigger things or leading to bigger projects. And I'm curious about that, but I'm also curious as to like how you guys collaborate. Like, what's your writing process like? Because you guys, like you said, you have worked together quite a bit, but how do you guys kind of work, literally work together? Do you write and then pass it on and then see what the other one thinks, or how does that work?
So, it was interesting because we wrote the short before this, Wild Bitch, during the pandemic.
Yeah.
When Kate and I did get to see each other distanced, we would hang out a lot in my backyard throughout the pandemic. And her boyfriend is one of my husband's best friends too now. So the four of us would sort of hang out all the time. And really, we would just start joking around and messing around and talking about stuff like themes, I guess, that like things we were feeling, and then figuring out how do we put that into art. And comedy is what I came from, but it just didn't feel totally quite right. So we were like, horror, she loves horror. And so we started collaborating on different horror ideas. And so in both films that we worked on together, basically we talk about it a little in person, and then we sort of texted the outline back and forth, like yes anding each other over text. And then I would take whatever that was and turn it into like a proper outline, send it to her, she edits it, then do the first draft of the script, send it to her, she edits it, go back and forth.
Yeah.
Um, and then we work in person doing like rehearsing it out loud, especially because it's not just writing, it's us playing it and us being the characters. So we would practice out loud, practice whatever stunts that we're putting in. Um, both shorts we shot at my house. So we would walk through
Mhm.
my house and be like, okay, how are we gonna shoot it? And so we sort of like practice it in the house over and over again, and keep refining and rewriting. And so we it's really collaborative, and I've written a bunch before. So um I'm able to sort of take sometimes like our crazy ideas and put them into script format. And yeah, and then we just like keep going from there. But it's all about building those characters and coming up with whatever that twist is, and then getting to it.
Yeah, and what about directing? So I know that that's quite the task as well. So you, I mean, I know that Kate has a bunch of IMDb credits as far as kind of being behind the scenes, but I mean, you've done this a long, long time. So what's it like kind of bringing someone up to speed and again, collaboration. I know even in my own life that is sometimes a little difficult to make someone see your vision or explain it even prior to getting it on camera. So what's that like? Because I right while writing is one thing, directing is another.
It's interesting. Like Kate and I really share a brain in some ways when it comes to creating a vision and a feeling and a vibe. We have sort of a tone that we see eye to eye on. And so also she has such an extensive horror experience in terms of watching. She is an avid horror watcher. So much of the visuals about how we create scares, or um she just has that already in her brain. And I have a lot of experience directing comedy and working in comedy, so then I'm bringing that. So much of it was about, we created mood boards, we used shot deck, we used Pinterest, we sent each other images from Beetlejuice and from Edward Scissorhands and this Virgin Suicides, and like all these different films where we're sending these like vibes to each other. And then we also worked with Kelsey Talton, was our cinematographer. So working with her, she also sort of brought us images that she thought would work for the film. And we really did so much prep in terms of shot listing and coming together that it wasn't one or the other. Sometimes we one of us might have like a strong vision for one element or another, but really we collaborate. Even the way we collaborate in writing, we collaborate in directing. So it never felt like, oh, I need to tell her what to do or she's telling me what to do. It's us working together, and we trust each other so much that there's never that feeling of like, well, it has to be my way or the highway. It's like it's our way, or we both go on the highway.
Mhm.
And it's fast out there.
You mentioned like kind of like the mood that she brought to the table, and I think that a lot of that comes from your house. Like the house was a very interesting aesthetic, like very like you mentioned Scissorhands-esque, and like that early 90s. I don't know, something about it was like very surreal, very dreamlike. The lighting was also fantastic. I just wanted you to speak to maybe some of those moments where Kate, as well as the bunny or the rabbit, like are the focus, but it's almost like this weird surreal moment, and it's all due to not only the performances but the lighting and your house. Again, it's fantastic.
This was this is Elspeth's bedroom, actually,
Yep.
that I'm in right now. So you know, it's so funny. My house normally doesn't look so creepy, and yet somehow it can look creepy easily. We we fill it with sort of retro junk, and
Yeah.
then also in Bad Rabbit, Elspeth has on the closet that's sort of over there. I would show you, but the rest of the room is a disaster. She has all these drawings of rabbits that the idea is that Elspeth drew those rabbits for, like, you know, her whole life. Kate actually spent days drawing all these rabbit portraits. So she drew probably like 100 rabbit portraits, and then we put them all over the walls, and then we use art from friends, and then just like we like weird pieces and like combining them so that it looks really creepy, but we wanted the feeling of a staleness in the air. So that's what we talked to Kelsey about. We were like, we wanted to feel stale. We wanted to feel like it smells like 1,000 cigarettes
Yeah.
have been smoked in the house. And so there was a fog machine. Kelsey's like just brilliant with lighting. And she also was my DP on my feature this summer because she's just so good visually. So yeah, we talked about how we wanted to look, and Kelsey was able to achieve that, and you know, through lighting, make day look like night. And and so yeah, we really just made sure that it had that sort of like the vibe from Edward Scissorhands, but we wanted it to feel more stale. So less of that feeling of, you know, just crisp colors and more darkness to it.
Excellent. Well,
I don't know who that was.
I mean, it was fun while it lasted. So here at
The Zoom is haunted.
here at CineDump, we let the doers know how they're doing, and you are doing just fine. To wrap up, I am curious. You mentioned you're working on a feature. I want to hear a little bit about that, but I also want to know if maybe you and Kate are going to knock out maybe a horror feature, soon, because I think you guys have a very interesting and fresh perspective. And I like the collab elements. Like we spoke about, the horror meets the comedy. A lot of times comedy actors jump to horror and horror jump to comedy. It just kind of works that way. Um, I would love to see even this fleshed out as a feature, but I'm just kind of curious as your take on that.
Yeah, our dream would be to make this into a feature. Like we have thought of that for years, even like we've been talking about it like since we kind of improvised with that Bad Rabbit character, and then now that we've created this, we have a full feature idea. We would die to make a feature, except, hopefully we'll live, because otherwise who would direct it?
Yeah.
Yeah, and we have other horror ideas and other things that we want to turn into features. And yeah, that's kind of our next step. So we're going to be writing this script no matter what. And we also have an idea to turn our previous short into a feature. And we have some darker, weirder ones that could also have the potential. I think if we get to make something like this first, I think then we can make sort of something even crazier. But yeah, like Bad Rabbit as a feature is like the number one dream. My feature this summer is called Step Aside. It's a dance comedy, and it's nothing like this tonally. It's about like kids dance competitions. And it was so fun. It's like an indie, but stars Arden Marine, who's like the funniest person on earth. And I got to do a rewrite on that script and direct it. And so it was awesome. Basically, within a month, we shot Bad Rabbit and I shot that feature. And so it was a really busy summer. And yeah, I'm just hoping to continue to be able to do that. And Kate and I, like, getting to make a feature together would be awesome, because we love spending time together and we have so much fun. And I do think that we have like an interesting collaboration, and she writes all the music for this and
Yeah.
like for everything we do. And that's something that like honestly like takes it up 10 million levels, because she's just so talented when it comes to not just writing songs but scoring. And it's so fun to be able to like collaborate with someone who's also adding that element to it as well. And I can't take any credit for that except every once in a while I'm like, can you make put us one scary note where it sounds like a violin string?
Well, excellent. Yeah,
So yeah, hopefully features to come.
well, yeah, I mean, Made of Bricks was like the soundtrack of my life for a good time.
Oh, that's amazing.
So anyway, I appreciate your time. I know we got to wrap up here. So thank you. We will definitely look forward to your features and anything else you guys produce together. This was a fantastic short, and thank you so much for your time.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Not a problem. Have a good day.
Bye.
Bye.
Oh my.